OKFM 101.7.
Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, NPP for Northtown, former Deputy Minister of Education, spokesperson on Foreign Affairs. Honorable Memoaje.
Yo, Major Somenia.
Nabagode.
Yamiadum. Pachona where.
Bibiazo wako pa. Na maba nchen a we de enkomo baako na ewo mu yes watro krata e de akwakoma World Bank fasika bi ho on the communication ministry nom ne ade e de be enkomo nie.
Yo, medase edikan mamenchia tiefo nyina enokrase mature krata akwakoma World Bank Vice President or in charge of integrity systems, or the senior investigator or World Bank. For some time now, Ubekaya monitor the activities of Nigerian cabal via more taking over the communications space in our country. Ubekaya and Chebia and Raising matters with company via your friend of Smart Infraco. That company during COVID almost Kobwa ama public servants, civil servants, Juma from home. Smart workplace platform. That contract, same modus operandi, no transparency. No PP approval, hurriedly handpicked. Later, and I'll call PP say ratification of that contract. Okay, Auditor General's report on the COVID expenditure. Auditor General I indicted company no say taxes. The Ghana for about 1.7 million Ghana cedis. Sa cabal no omoye kelni GVG ubekaya some years ago is revenue assurance contract in some degree, lack of transparency, lack of accountability, just handpicked under very shady circumstances. That same Nigerian cabal. Enti latest conduct. Another company created. You say created numerous companies, but the leader of that cabal will be your friend Philip Olaya. Na onoana or your beneficial owner of Kelny GVG, onoana or your Smart Infraco, onoana this latest dubious contractor may analyze it. Ascent Digital Solutions Limited, a company or established 5th April 2019. No track record, no competence, no capacity so far as a Jumana or more concern. Or more registered company no. Our first project, a $48 million rural telephony project. Now, there are a about that $48 million rural telephony project. And it's usher the Hansard of Parliament on the 31st of March 2020. Parliament approved a commercial agreement for that rural telephony project. So our project, Parliament approved 2 companies to execute that project. Companies, Huawei, and another Chinese company, your friend of CNCIT, valued at $155 million. Also, the funding arrangement, China Exim for the 85% ebeba. Na Ghana, your counterpart funding yene ABSA, Absa Bank, Ekasaye, Omubuaye, with the 15% counterpart funding. Now, the commercial agreement is very clear and unambiguous. Companies, Huawei, and CNCIT, Omona, Omobe Executive Project. The intercepted documents say, contrary to what Parliament has approved, this company owned by the Nigerian cabal are Ascent Digital Solutions Limited. They are executing the project. OSHA Krata, various agencies under
contrary to what Parliament know and Parliament approved. Exactly. And all that. Okay.
Exactly. Because the Parliament approved here 31st March 2020. A companies Nienue, Huawei, NRC, NCIT, NSSOMU executed. In the Ebanesena, this Nigerian company, Ascent Digital Solutions Limited, Ebemu. Now, OSHA, the quality grain case, and OSHA, the CDB approvals, the principle has been established there. The Parliament MO approval, particularly with commercial agreement, and the companies have been stated that those companies in Kwanon Betumia Jimano. If you are going to change it, variation, you must come back to Parliament for an amendment, fresh approval. Want to make anchor change it, the Parliament approve it. That's a clear violation, and the quality grain case is very, very clear. Now, me who say Ascent Digital executive project for $48 million. Metro Krata Koma PPA. I raise a right information request. Say me perceive me TSS PPA for Public Procurement Authority. Are they aware of this contract? Have they granted any approval? Because Ghana Yenim say your procurement laws who execute any public project, you need PPA approval. PPA for a respondee on the 30th of June this year. Like I said, Omuni any records, they haven't granted any approval to Ascent Digital to execute any $48 million rural telephony project. Now, Minia, there are a year even more annoying, more irritating, more disgusting and appalling. ASA, after dubiously arranging for themselves this $48 million contract.
OKFM. I'm a child, me bacho me bo. Me clear wa ha.
Okay.
Wow, quote $148 million. And no yes canwa Ghana buying through Parliament 155.
Yeah.
155. It is 48 million when one koji free here and Ezen Bank dinum.
155. Also the name of the project a rural telephony project. It is a clear say a portion of the $155 million are proven. And now they have found a way of getting involved in the project. They say, it is not clear how they won that contract because Omuni PPA approval. Now, so they have made bold claims. OSHA GIFEC for proof of contract certificate. Media I secured GIFEC for Krata or Mochiro Koma World Bank. Omo Ka say GIFEC. GIFEC is an agency under the Ministry of Communications. The full meaning the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication. Omo administrator was signing a proof of contract certificate. Or Kase, and the administrator is called Prince Ofosu Tefa. Dated December 15, 2021. Omo de krata we come World Bank. Say Ascend Digital has a valid contract between GIFEC and, for that matter, the Ministry of Communication. It is based on this representation, no, and Omwakwako secure another $49.5 million contract sponsored by the World Bank, which is known as the E-Transform project. As I said, Mutia, you have to understand the chronology.
Okay.
They needed this $48 million contract to give themselves capacity, give themselves track record, give themselves credibility. Because Ascend, no, now Omuni credibility, the Omunye Juma Biada, they did not have any track record in the sector. It's a hurriedly put together company, 2019. Omunya contract, the Omu executive project here. Until they found a way of getting associated with this rural telephony project. There was no parliamentary approval, no parliamentary variation, no PPA approval. And then they went to present themselves to the World Bank, said, $48 million project. We and I give it for to Emma or more cover certificate of attestation. Said they have that contract. Nita for to Emma or more cover. Said they have that contract. And that is how they presented themselves. They are doing this rural telephony project. And so they qualify for this $49.5 million e-transform project. Omuni Elter Tigo. Omwa forming a joint venture. And they have won that contract with the World Bank. And to usher on modus operandi, anything they will do, insider dealing, conflict of interest, arm twisting, just to grab every project in the communication space. There's another one I may track it. I know I'll reveal it later. Say modus operandi. And the question is, which Ghanaian can go to Nigeria and flout their laws, trample upon their laws, and just grab everything to themselves? I mean, it's mind-boggling.
One guy say, COVID buying company na womo airport no.
Yeah.
Now you say a Nigerian company be. Ebra ema ministers designate. Ye de minister me ofa kwakwa manu baaye no. Wo so baaye no he came to find say wo ni license.
No money license, yeah.
E na wo boa wo nya ye sabra adwo asafo ewo procurement ministry. Wo se wo baaye na wo ni procurement certificate. Bebre eti sasa na e ne
matwe the passer wokai. And sir, that company na your friend omo Frontiers, yeah. Say modus operandi, another Nigerian. I mean, no track record. The question is, why are we doing this to our own people? Your Ghanaian businesses, which IT firms. Look, Ghana IT firms, very sought after internationally. A big cry here, Juma, other countries, or more credibility. You know, suddenly, no, there is no IT firm. They have the capacity. These Nigerians come here and they go into all kinds of unholy alliances with ministers of state. It's the passer okay Frontiers they see here.
Same
modus operandi. Ubekaya at the vetting appointments committee. Time and member. Ministers nina ye bisomo na obi a name contract no hushe. Foreign minister
I remember
leave me out. Transport minister, information minister,
yes.
Health minister.
Now when Mekai say
under the law they needed a license from HEFRA. You know, the health regulatory agency. They didn't have it. Now so they were engaged in such a sensitive biomedical activity.
Now when him around say be wom edi enaka kra bi no omuso wo manya over $70 million.
Oh yeah.
Wo mo no declare wo mo mfa so wo mo say ya Ghana state no little over $1 million.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's all the airport.
Emma, yeah, argument said no Gucci for Krano could have taken up that tax.
No Gucci could have done it. CSIR could have done it.
Oh,
their counterpart in Kumasi could have done it. Kolebu Say Omo was very, very, very respected of international standard. You know, medical laboratory outfit. They could have done it. Oh, Omunyana, they were abandoned. It is the same modus operandi this Nigerian is doing in the communications and digitalization space. And Minya would hear some of the stories. I mean, Onem say Airtel Tigo was taken over by government of Ghana. And the government of Ghana Airtel Tigo for $1 when they took it over. Now, as I said, President Akufo-Addo or appointed a board. There is no board, or appointee is the board. And yet the Minister of Communications is acting as the board, and Onona or approving, me were internal memos, approving even this joint venture, asking them to work with Accent, all kinds, or approving the RFQs, or even the final award of the contract. I mean, look, conflict of interest can never look so nasty, can never be so stinking. Into this matter, no, OSHA World Bank for even page 10 of the e-transform contract. If he said, so would notice he said there has been insider dealing, conflict of interest. If you notice that there's been fraud, misrepresentation, bring it to the attention of the World Bank, and then they will launch investigation and eventually take action. And why this is very important, Minia, meaning say, Ebibeka say, oh, is Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa not going too far? Is he not being unpatriotic? Me pacho. As I say, ye kai say, sika we ye bo sika kesia ye bo say no. Eye loan so, enye grant, eye loan. If we don't insist on value for money, we don't insist on transparency and accountability, okayfm, these Nigerians will just come, take our money away, be smiling all the way to the bank, and metrake or more. I see what they do in safe havens, in Grenada, in Bahamas, and all of that. Enti omo tam yesika ako. Now so yen and I say yetia because a loan. We will be paying with interest. China Exim is a loan. World Bank, the say it is a loan. All of these hundreds of millions of dollars. These Nigerians have come to grab these contracts without due process, without transparency, without accountability. They engage in all of this insider dealing, this conflict of interest, and then there's even no guarantees. Because OSHA assesses now, on even rural telephony, shady work, and they are just smiling all the way to the bank, and we have to pay for it. The poor Ghanaian taxpayer has to pay. If we can stop this now, early, and save us the money and the trouble of repaying these loans,
Honorable,
yeah.
The me be say Accent Digital Solutions Limited. One more day, I'm for Parliament. I'm for Parliament is so dear. Money can't be expended on this project without recourse to parliamentary approval. Ebani say ya wano esla no that can work for him with the Tria Accent Digital Solutions Limited. And as oboko for yata o no catches the fata uni aba makoye contract de bo mine no moms kan mfanko.
Yo unu say aban way and yet the first time need parliamentary approval now so kwako utilize your taxes. They have been very notorious for that kind of misconduct. Obekaya National Cathedral, no parliamentary approval. Nansu Sika, over 339 million Ghana cedis. And Omuyi, until I intercepted documents and a finance minister Obe consider during the vote of censure. And Oka say he thought he could use the contingency vote. And we pointed to him, say, this cannot be contingent. Contingency, BBA, wouldn't him say BC, ABA flood in BSC, accident BSC, national disaster BSC, and now ABA more qualify for World Bank, World Cup tournament, be an Africa Cup, and your team has made it to the next stage. You couldn't envisage, say, they will go that far. Those are contingency expenditure. But projector wouldn't name multiple year layer. You know you are going to do it. What for contractors, what for architects, David Ajay, who is charging through the roof and all of that. That cannot qualify under contingency. Into Obekaya, later on, and 2023 budget where he tried to do the right thing in November 2022, for the first time, he put an allocation in the budget, 80 million cedis for National Cathedral, which I am glad, sir, we all came together to reject that allocation in the budget. And yes, they know, sir, it is wrong. It violates Article 178. You cannot be engaging in these projects without parliamentary approval when they have not been even approved by the PP and all of that. But they have a history of that. They are quite notorious, for that kind of conduct. But I can assure you, sir, once you are taking this matter up, our eagle eyes are going to be on this project. World Bank for our acknowledging receipt of this petition. We are going to assist them. Fortunately, your whistleblowers from within, they've just had it. They can't accept this situation of foreigners just coming here, and we are not anti-foreigners, but you see, our leaders, the ministers of state, should not create a situation where we have different set of rules, different set of conditions for free amanone, and then by your local businesses, we are killing them. We don't support them. They stand no chance. And all of this insider dealing continues to favor a particular foreign business interest. Any idea, as I say, you're entertaining, and we should not tolerate it for even a minute more. Indiana, you're filing petition. We are taking this matter to the hilt, and it's not a matter we are going to leave at all.
Obia testimony says, "Yes, I don't know. Want a Ablakwa Eagle IPI." Now, it's on the line. Yeah, mommy, what's idea we say? It is your prayer. A letter would come where bank say woman your day.
Enti ye pese edi kan omo launch investigation. And secondly, no, ye pese omo cancel contract. This $49.5 million contract. This Nigerian company don't deserve it, because they will just be smiling all the way to the bank. And in any case, no, omo ye fraudulent misrepresentation to win the contract. A lot of the things they are saying they have done, they have the capacity. Osha, even the circumstance leading to even the JV, is fraught with a lot of irregularities. The SLB and board. The insider deal, it didn't give any other company who took part even in the bid a dog's chance. And the whole thing, it marks the image even of the World Bank, said they would award such a contract in any country. And they have to pull out, and again, because this is just the first part of a $200 million loan at World Bank for that whole digital space, and this is just the first attempt to grab that entire, sum of money that is available. And you say you cancel now Ghana for you to me a protecting your secret. Look at the state of this economy. We are struggling now because you see we are in debt distress. Your debt levels are no longer sustainable. We can't keep granting our loans to these dubious entities. At the end of the day, Menewo, the struggling taxpayer, will be called upon to pay these loans. Meanwhile, these characters will be chilling somewhere in the Bahamas, having stolen our money, and when we are not guaranteed any value for money, no track record, no capacity. I mean, why should we be doing that? And that is the objective, sir. This project must not see the light of day. It has to be cancelled. The World Bank must step in. They must step in and make sure, sir, they protect, the sanctity of this whole e-transform project, because the way I akono is just totally smelly, putrefying. It's not a project that anybody should be proud of. The way it has gone, the conflict of interest, the insider dealing, the multiple violations of our laws, Minia, it cannot be allowed to stand.
Na mami fa we emre yewura me say me fan say adugem fio say me fan kusi boatin issues no expose no wawie o episodes no ni ade no.
Oh, mean when it's National Cathedral there, it's a hydra-headed. Your Broniveka say hydra-headed, multiple facets, multiple layers. But Obekaya, sir, or they may call court. Or they may call court. There were 3 cases. Contempt, there, or Lucia, he lost, and he was even slapped with cost. So he has to rather pay me for that frivolous and vexatious application, because Nipana or Dio Muba Metro TV, they were not bailiffs. So be an India Okofa or Mufri, continuing with his reputation. And then there was a defamation suit also against us, against me at the High Court, and also we are going through the motions. It's very, very interesting, and I can't wait for the judgment. It looks like he underestimated what we have, just how much documentation and information we have about him and his modus operandi. And the third case, the human rights application, or the buyer said me in my exposés affecting his right to privacy and all of that. And also, we are expecting a judgment very soon on the human rights application of the buyer. But I clear all of these legal maneuverings was to put impediments in my way and stop me from carrying out my constitutional mandate of oversight. Because the NKI said members of Parliament, the whole principle of checks and balances, as Montesquieu espoused, is to make sure that one arm is watching the other, so that there wouldn't be abuse, no, if you like, absolute power, and that is being abused, and state resources are being wasted, and all of that. It's not personal. We are just making sure, sir, the right thing is done. Imagine, sir, National Cathedral way, my intercepted documents, and the air cost, it didn't come to light. And can you imagine? At least we're able to stop it at $339 million. That's $58.1 million. Imagine what $58.1 million can do. But if we hadn't stepped in with our exposés now, Anka by now, Ediana drew $200 million, $300 million. And what was going on, they said, Omuyi Sikano, Omuyi taxes. It wasn't even going into the project. Indiana, many workers say we have the world's most expensive hole. And I'm not surprised, even the architect.
Honorable.
Yeah.
Last week, me call site.
Good. Let me answer.
Na me kodru one. Ade we no ma ye tutu ayini wo se holes bebre. Ena bi wo a omagu concrete wom. Ena bi wo a ye nwui. Ena ye twetwa iron rods. Bebrebe na eguo ena wi na achi on said this here ena guho ena cranes no makuma be 5 ewo ho na on of anonymity we busa nipa ne say cranes we motor ya na se no se your mine na anto na ye rent na esiwa anya adwuma ni nyina day in and day out ye tuaka okay but many masofo nso bedi nkomo wa ha no o kan se oh e ade a mine procure ya to e wo ma o kan se tedi si hunu no architecturally no aka dade na o be import they will need about $100 million import that the entire that the nearby and yes say yenzu near kwano no we na one say is surrounded by many high rise buildings enti me ko fro ba ku bi a be etoaso be 15 floors nam called the last floor wujina all there ohun ye pa outside. Very, very sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad.
Yeah. And
but the don't make any say.
Yeah.
With these 339 million expended on the project, no. Now can you tell me be simple bia?
Oh.
Because I don't me beside the cost of the project. I'm saying no, they don't know. Because near my work cost a ding and then the variations of the project, sessions of the project, it keeps on changing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, look, $58 million. And also, is it Ghana? We are refusing to learn.
Got me, Patrick Mibo.
Yeah.
And now me call Luxembourg. One more park, Le Jardin Park. Unso almost a cathedral be okra. One year renovation, and it's just a. You bet me bibi sa wa mo kwa dem de is a historical monument na na omo ye variations bi on no kwa de wa mo amu anwu wa mo pese chese omo chese ancient no ba beto anu beto se de to Sydney obi a onim opera bia no wo behu ye hanka opera in Sydney ke ba ka se ye kwa kobu ka Paris so omo opera na wo ho no se ke bebu ato agu adana bibia na mu bu ato agu ntia de yenya bibia eye historically because say okay in 15th century say no netie yes e ba say ne abesia ka ho
yeah because osha demolitions ni nyina ya wo ho the scholarship secretariat for example the history I wo ho Ghana ye great omunya scholarships omufa ho ye buegu then she passport office headquarters ya demolition she judicial training institute judges are more free Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, all these countries I mean it's such an important project, the kind of legacy it represents. Ya demolition ya boegu then you look at judges bungalows elsewhere, omobe preserve, omobe making sure say, look, it even becomes such an honor, say, hey, building when a judge where make kind of judgments when I was in law school 30 years ago, 40 years ago. This is the building he operated from. I have now also earned it. And the way on your maintenance or innovations and all of that, and will keep important. I mean, Mekai said about 3-4 years ago, France, Charles de Gaulle, the Bia Yawono, his grandmother's house, or more preserving, his even the baby cot and how he grew up, the kitchen, the BOD, where he was served from. All those things are preserved, and it's a major tourist site. We don't seem to have value for all. Including Mali ambassador's residence. And now you see what we have. There is no guarantee, say, even the state of this economy, because Eddie Kaino, President Freya said, let's have a national discussion. A monument, an iconic projector. What should it be? Nobody was engaged. No, and in a democracy, you don't do that. Elsewhere, they will have a national debate in their parliament, an open fora, Obian Fana Jembra. If we are to do a legacy project, an iconic project, unique to us, no, what should it be? Yeah, yes, National Cathedral, yeah, restaurant, yeah, design it, just restaurant, it was $8.5 million just for restaurant because almost the Diane Ebeba from Israel.
Wow,
are we really sure, sir? Obi or person, Odi Diane from Israel, I'll bet to be to coin from America, Germany, Uncle Israel direct,
honorable
Ghana for a make believe. I mean,
honorable,
yeah.
But that's what Israel.
Oh yes.
One said near man holding now, baby, one accurate.
Oh yes. One create.
One create. Yes. Hannah, yes, in the tea. Now, who put near the abuse can you? Yeah. Now, no. London. Who's the Buckingham Palace? Who to me, Trafalgar Square?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, Trafalgar Square, Hano. Almost ye make kind of renovations and adding. But a danya woodwa a ancient buildings around it, no. You move back to
no, hey, you cannot.
Enemy busa say. Okay, so moon to mua. Adena ebi anka mano facelift kakra like painting of no. It should be as it is.
Yeah.
As it was in the beginning. So be a bar. No who say kurono ankasa ache.
Sure. And I want to say you will be a friend of UNESCO heritage sites.
Sure.
They are protected buildings. Want to make you? It's an international violation. If you just go and touch them, say, "Oh, yeah, painting and oh, yeah, any kind of renovation and alteration," you are in trouble. Big trouble.
May Australia, Sydney. No, not Sydney, Adelaide. Na me wo baby, ho na me ko school wo baby e from South Terrace. Na omo wo enkwara school ho, creche. Ebe prim bia be me fan say bia nka basic 6, primary 6 me ade. And na school no the Pulteney School. Na omo old buildings sisiwa still na enkwara ne kom. And na omo see new buildings we chi. Na all buildings, you know. It is said the school was established in 1847. Me pass some pana me bowrem. I'm so dear me come me Chamuna me who ya me interest whom pana bisa money. Numbers almost say why say there's this new building and an old building. An old building no so no woman he said ye tina windows in tiana no man kwala kum and it why is it so? And one more chair say then a children kwala lessons be say school no ye te dada no say no net ye na said ye te dada no obetina mu bi asua de na wo graduate na wo ba animu a no obewura new school no enti da bia no obehu the new tradition and the old tradition no how we've progressed culturally as a nation. Now I'm say wow. Now I'm say me can me team say ye ebugu.
Oh, you better demolish it.
Yebugu. Eti say no obetwa makoto de na awie ansa na bia watoa expose ne so ana wa unravel mysteries about the National Cathedral.
Oh, there be main chain. There were multiple actions at ECOSO. Ministers need be or more questions to answer. And the foreign minister make question okra. It was advertised this week and also or chro krata by Parliament say or will leave into Yamano a few more days. Into MCB and next week and next 2 weeks because on the question no yes say Banisena or more appointee Reverend Victor Kusibwati into the board of the National Cathedral as Reverend Victor Kusibwati. Now so Omomano diplomatic passport. Sir Onyenejuma in another name as Kwame Edujensi. Into how did that happen? Into the foreign minister has that question to answer. Meaning said tourism minister so or another question to answer related to the project because once a tourism minister and a lands minister, there are a number of property owners are more courts say they have not been compensated. They say Comsys IT firm and some other property owners. Malian ambassador say, and also say, or so chain and full compensation package. And there are questions for those ministers to come and answer on the compensation aspect. So those whose properties were demolished, Dabena or Mobe settle or more to avoid needless judgment debt, because those cases are also going on at the High Court. And then there is also the motion. Kaise, you file a motion which was admitted by the Speaker for a full-scale parliamentary inquiry. Speaker admitted motion, but I cut 2 more stages. That is the debate on the motion and the constitution of the committee, constituting the committee to go into the investigation. Some Kaise, the Speaker was even considering inviting experts from outside Parliament to also be members of the committee to probe the whole National Cathedral scandal. There were many aspects, and Kai said me was Shraj, so on the conflict of interest aspect, and Shraj has also been cooperating, carrying out the investigation. Like I said, there have been at least 2 exchanges, 2 letters, clarifications, and not Shraj. Omo many lawyers here responded. And those investigations are also going on. And there were all kinds of aspects costful. And I have not, as it were, abandoned it because of court cases. No, I mean that was the agenda, but it hasn't worked. In terms of parliamentary questions, the parliamentary probe, the looming probe, that is all alive. And the Shraj investigations also, I have been actively involved, making sure that they get all the documents they need for their investigations. I believe, sir, in the coming days, we will see some of these other aspects materialize. Either, sir, there's questions and Shraj reports, and all of that.
Okay. Honorable, both parties, the men who Ghana had say appoint to be as minister no or a minister there, but ne ade ba kon se contract ba wono nso kakra ja obenya na bia wode akoboa ne campaign se campaign ba na ne constituency no so no ya ne hia ene bibi sa ade ba na mo betimi aka kire yen se as NDC no se nyame ya adom na mo ba power de ye hu yi contract with that parliamentary approval ebim kura da so gina ho court no ne ade ne we mo ba sakram ye hu bi. And now there will be a system in place,
Brilliant question. No crane minia on my way here, the beer or Bruni friend of governance reforms. Also, we share even the fight against corruption. Ababe yes, overpower. You only see the corruption of your predecessor. You only fight the corruption of your predecessor. In the court cases, Attorney General or Pesino, the perceived ills of former ministers and former appointees. In the here pan is a system. Corruption will be fought across board, irrespective of who is committing it, which party is in power, and all of that. That is what has been lacking. All of these matters, one raise from opposition, and even that who raise it, Attorney General won't take action. The government of the day won't take action. Waiting, sir, opposition for better power. Then they can now deal with the corruption of their opponents. Yen to me, and Kosusa. Dear you say you need an attorney general and you need a president who will make sure, sir, the same principle will apply. If it's procurement breaches, Sebi, and yet Charlotte Osenkwana, she will lose her job because of procurement breaches. And I say, and yet NCA officials under John Mahama, who will be in jail, who will be languishing in jail for procurement breaches. If it does happen, even under your watch currently, you will take action on those matters. And we need our institutions, they say the OSP, the SHRAJ, to come into themselves and to be strong. Persons there who these are former Auditor General level. If he had been allowed, he was no nonsense. He could even go after current minister, senior minister Krano. He could go after him. That's the kind of, and unfortunately, he was not allowed to do his work. And Supreme Court are ruling 3 years. And look at Supreme Court too. Look at how long it took them. Until you see the whole governance architecture from executive to all the way to judiciary. You see, you don't seem to have bold souls who will call the bluff of anybody and eschew the extreme partisanship and put the country ahead. That is what we have been lacking. That's the kind of governance reforms that you hear. And then also probably if we can have an ombudsman. They said President Mahama is talking about Bush's recent speeches he's talking about having a certain governance arrangement made up of civil society experts. They will be in charge, like a governance council. Or more independent into assessing. So we need something like that. And they will then present reports, the state of governance in our country, every year and every quarter. And based on those reports, where they will demand action, make recommendations, it will help to deal with current matters that will be happening, at that period. Some of those governance reforms President Mahama has talked about, that really is the solution. And then ultimately, appointing people with integrity who will put the country first, put the country ahead of all kinds of personal interests. You see, the way system is like free for all. We don't seem to have a strong leader. And there are also no consequences for people's action. Himself, the president has even earned the nickname of clearing agent. Clear appointee, noise from the opposition. You people should leave us alone. And then it continues. Things have festered, and to say it's a free for all.
And yeah, honorable, what can be afa governance restructuring? Yentimi nye bibi say you minister, we a minister. By minister, I say both NPP and DC. I started woman award the contract. Woman a copy way, woman assign na ye chief directors in the system na kasa ndu baby a ese enya adwuma. The assurance na be my say se mokra no nyame boa mo na mo betumi agitumi a saade we sade ye kan mo betumi asesem because me hunu abrochire ba bia ne amahodo so yi Africa free wa minister no wono enema contract minister no wansan ye ntia aka minister no na adai enema sa nyema nyina bo
also OSHA procurement laws and all of that all the NTP tender committees and all of that ideally it should be about a competent bid, companies or more track record and all of that. But unfortunately, this country, your laws not fair. Now, so the laws become decorative pieces. They are observed in the breach, more or less. It comes back to strong leadership. Like I said, under President Mahama Bresso, there was a time there was a policy said beyond a certain threshold, no ministry can give out any contract without cabinet approval. Beyond a particular threshold. And also boa. At the end of the day, no, it's about having the right systems, making sure, sir, the laws work. Because Obekaya, in opposition, the NPP said, sir, even sole sourcing was becoming too much. Or mobile, they want to do things in a competitive way. Because it is through that competitive process, you know, that we can even have value for money, pricing can be better, and all of that. But to say, you know, all of those promises have been forgotten. Projects nina are tracking, they are all sole sourcing. Ebikra anko PPA for approval. OSHA National Cathedral, everything was sole sourced. OSHA, even all this Nigerian cabal are not taking over the communication space. Many are sole source. You just call them. Nobody is even allowed to compete with them. Nobody is given a chance. From Journey GVG to Smart Infraco, to Ascend, Nina sole sourcing. It's about having strong leadership. They're putting in place systems to make sure say mobile monitor, supervise, and then there should be consequences. Look, if one or two people lose their jobs and they are disciplined because of these kinds of acts, president is not in a hurry to clear them. You know, say and it is rather the opposition that is crying wolf. No? Then you notice there will be discipline and people will be scared. But as it is now, no, one year, people will even think that you probably, excuse my French, are not sane. It's become a free for all. And it comes back to strong leadership of integrity, making sure that our laws will work. Because laws no whole. Quite say anybody, whether you're a minister or whatever, will just go and handpick companies to do whatever you want. The laws are there. But how are the laws being enforced? And what are the consequences if the laws are not enforced? All of these revelations coming up to say, what will be done? If this was any other country, National Cathedral say, no, people will not be shielded. All those who engage in this, even conduct that even is clear criminality, no? You will see an attorney general acting, you will see a police CID acting, and all of that. People will be standing trial, people will face the music. All of this, what this Nigeria cabal is doing with the Ghanaian collaborators. You know, it's not the first time the Kaiser CSOs raised this matter even during the Gandhi times. You know, nothing happened. When you keep shielding people, the leader pretends he sees no evil, hears no evil, and can take no action on evil. That's what happens. It comes back to leadership, Minia. It comes back to leadership.
Okay. On a 1 year, Meda was a partner, never go to another parliament.
And there you call parliament. Ochinana, you have boycott Akoko.
But Speaker say it's a breach
of Article 97(1)(c). Yeah. And I'm glad Mirezi Speaker has given us clarity. What it
and I was standing with us and I was saying
what it means is they say yechro krata komano anytime I hear boycott because on the
na ba jo akwala wa mesku no wa twira koma teacher say enemi mesku.
Oh yes, you can be absent with permission. Sir,
okay.
And yes, sir, I'm being true one, and I'm in person. But we are protesting, and also in a democracy, boycotts, walkouts, demonstrations is all part of democratic tools available in any democracy. In Speaker say, and we will do that and make sure, sir, because you see what is going on. Once President Akasa in a way which is so prejudicial, we let the cat out of the bag. We state, sir, our colleagues will go to jail, and he is looking forward to that and all of that. When he is not a judge in the case, it's clear, sir, the ecosono, a political witch hunting, and we cannot. We have to offer solidarity. We cannot just, sit idle, be unconcerned, and then let our colleagues, continue to face all of these political witch hunting at ECOSO. We need to offer solidarity. We need to stand with them and let the whole world know. Unfortunately, it's drawing international attention, national attention to the witch hunting at Air Coastal, and everybody will see clearly what is going on. Especially as all of these are happening to people with, look at Honorable Kwesi Nkese, more than a year to the election, were applied for renunciation. Before the election, renunciation certificate will not ABBA. So why are you wasting everybody's time? Is this the best we can do with public time? I mean, the ages, resources. When there are bigger crimes at Air Coastal within your own government, and you don't avert your mind to it, you pretend that you haven't seen the bigger crimes that are going on. As for the democratic protest, not yet. We will do it, and now we have clarity from the speaker. Say, if you want to be marked absent with permission on the basis of the fact that you are protesting, write formally to us. That the leader had stated it on the floor. That was verbal. But his reading of Article 97 1C, it has to be written. We will not abandon our comrades in the face of this clear political witch hunting.
Na mo nsoro sa nneɛma se bia mo kɔ bebree sa mo we parliamentary siege at the court na no enhye bia judge na bufuo ma bia bibi ho bia nanka he will do it or he judge it with clements na bia na akobase bia bibi sa.
Oh, there be also these are open court hearings. Your courts are even there are pews arranged, benches arranged for members of the public to sit and observe proceedings. We don't see how going there. Sorry, because your kohwa yen share red bands, yanko jina judge neso, yan kasa. It's a very quiet. We respect the dignity of the court. We just want our colleagues to know they are not alone. Witch hunting in our customer, the victimization, the hounding, the harassment going on. We can see it. We share in their pain, and we are with them. That's all. And we do it very, very, dignified. It's done in a very dignified manner. We don't see how this should is like intimidate any judge and affect the work of any judge. And to be rest assured, sir, your colleagues journalists are with us. They see our conduct. Your co-holding Obian Yedede, Obian share red, Obian chante. There is no noise, no speech within the court. I mean, Judge I'm sure, sir, if he or she doesn't even raise and try to look within the crowd, who say MPs are around. See, we have good intentions. It's just to protest. And remember, sir, parliamentary boycotts, walkouts, it happens everywhere, in every democracy. It's a democratic tool. Make I say, even just a few days ago, Indian Prime Minister or America on a state visit. There's Congresswoman Cortez. She is not happy with how minorities are being treated in India. Prime Minister Modi Obabe addressing Congress. She walked out. She staged a walkout. She didn't listen to the speech. Yeah, and nobody attacked her. Nobody criticized her. It's a protest. It's a democratic tool available. So she feels strongly about how minorities, Muslims and blacks are being treated in India. She doesn't think she should sit and listen to the Prime Minister of India when those things are going on. Her conscience doesn't allow it. And she boycotted the proceedings to register her protest.
William Mackay, Sir Charles Cunningham boycott. The eponym for the English verb and common now say boycott. That was 18th century. And the medals by our seat to the Korean effect. Oh yeah. I did the fan worker. Medasi anopay.
Yo, Mr. Medasi.
Yes, yes, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP for North Tongue, former Deputy Minister of Education, Minister and a spokesperson on Foreign Affairs.
OKFM 101.7.